What if I told you that the life you're living right now is just one channel in an infinite broadcast, and you've been stuck on the same station, wondering why the song never changes? Stay with me because what I'm about to reveal will shatter everything you thought you knew about why you're stuck. Right now, as you're listening to this, infinite versions of your reality are vibrating just beyond your perception. Different timelines. Different outcomes. Different versions of you, living the abundance, the love, the success you've been desperately chasing. But here's what nobody tells you. You're not stuck because of bad luck. You're not trapped because the universe forgot about you. You're locked in the same repeating loop because your entire system, your mind, body, emotions, your very frequency, is still broadcasting the signal of the old timeline. And here's the part that's going to sound impossible, but stay with me because this is where everything changes. You can't manifest your way out of this. You can't force it. You can't trick it. And you absolutely cannot affirmation your way into a new reality while your nervous system is still wired to the old one. The quantum field doesn't respond to how badly you want something. It responds to something far more powerful, something most people never discover. Before I reveal what that is, I need you to understand something critical. Every single choice you've made today, every reaction, every thought pattern, has been feeding one of two timelines. The one you want to escape, or the one you're trying to reach. So here's my question for you, which one have you been feeding? Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly why the quantum field has been ignoring your desires, and more importantly, how to finally make it listen. But first, we need to talk about the invisible force that's been sabotaging you all along. Here's the truth that's going to sting, but it's also going to set you free. The universe isn't responding to your vision boards. It's not listening to your affirmations. And it definitely doesn't care how many manifestation videos you've watched. Want to know what it's actually listening to? Your dominant frequency. Not your loudest thought. Not your most desperate prayer. Your dominant frequency is the cumulative vibration of your entire being, what you think, what you feel, what you expect, and most dangerously, what you embody when nobody's watching. Here's where it gets really uncomfortable. You can say, I am abundant, 1,000 times. But if your body contracts in fear every time you check your bank account, guess which signal the quantum field is receiving? The contraction. Not the affirmation. You can visualize your soulmate all day long. But if your heart is armored shut, protecting old wounds, the field doesn't register your desire for love. It registers your frequency of isolation. This is the trap. And 99% of people are stuck in it right now. They're trying to change their reality from the outside in. New job. New city. New relationship. But here's what quantum physics reveals, and this is crucial. Nothing external can override an internal frequency that hasn't shifted. Nikola Tesla understood this. He said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He wasn't speaking metaphorically. He was giving you the literal code. Your life isn't happening to you. Your life is a frequency, and that frequency is either aligned with the timeline you desire, or it's repelling it. So right now, I want you to feel into this question: where are you vibrating in fear while declaring faith? Where are you bracing for disappointment while praying for miracles? Because these contradictions, these subtle energetic misalignments, are exactly why your timeline hasn't shifted. But don't worry. You're about to discover why this has been happening, and it has nothing to do with your willpower. It has everything to do with something you didn't even know was running the show. Let me show you the hidden enemy that's been hijacking your quantum shift without you even knowing it. Your subconscious mind. Here's the problem, and this is going to explain everything. 95% of your behavior, your reactions, your decisions, they're not coming from your conscious intentions. They're coming from subconscious programming, old trauma, childhood conditioning, inherited fears, survival patterns. That means right now, while your conscious mind is saying, I'm ready for change, 95% of your system is still operating from the frequency of the old timeline. And the quantum field? It responds to the dominant signal. Let that sink in for a second. You're trying to manifest from 5% of your awareness while 95% of you is still tuned to lack, fear, and survival mode. No wonder nothing's changing. Here's where quantum mechanics meets neuroscience in a way that changes everything. In quantum physics, there's something called the observer effect. It says that the act of observation collapses infinite possibilities into one single reality. But here's the twist nobody talks about. You're not just observing reality with your eyes. You're observing it with your beliefs, your emotions, your expectations, your wounds. And if your subconscious mind is doing 95% of the observing, then your subconscious is collapsing your reality, not your conscious desires. This is why people can change jobs, cities, partners, and still find themselves in the exact same emotional patterns. This is why the loop keeps repeating. Because the timeline won't shift until the observer shifts. So what's keeping your inner observer locked in the old frequency? Resistance. And resistance is sneaky. It doesn't show up waving a red flag. It disguises itself as logic, as being realistic, as procrastination, as overthinking. It lives in your body as tension, as anxiety, as the nervous system's belief that staying stuck is safer than leaping into the unknown. Even when you hate where you are, your system believes survival depends on staying there. This isn't your fault. It's biology. It's chemistry. It's the way your nervous system was wired to protect you. But here's the empowering part, and this is where we turn everything around. You don't have to fight the resistance. You don't have to overpower it. You just have to stop feeding it. And that starts with understanding the one thing that actually collapses the quantum wave in your favor. Here's the secret that separates people who transform from people who just consume information. Matching. Not wanting. Not wishing. Not visualizing harder. Matching the frequency of the timeline you desire. Think of the quantum field like an infinite ocean where every possible version of your life already exists as a wave of potential. You don't create these possibilities. They're already there, waiting. When you shift your frequency, you're not manifesting something from nothing. You're collapsing into the version that was vibrating for you all along. But here's where everyone gets it wrong. They think matching is mental. I know abundance is possible. I know I can heal. I know love exists. Knowing isn't enough. Your body needs to know it. Your emotions need to know it. Your breath, your posture, your daily choices, they all need to broadcast the same signal. I am the version of me who already lives in this reality. This is embodiment. And it's the missing link that nobody talks about. Let me give you exact examples so you can feel the difference. If you're shifting into an abundance timeline, embodiment means spending money with trust instead of panic. It means your shoulders relax when bills arrive instead of tensing up. It means you breathe deeply into the knowing of, I have enough, even when your bank account says otherwise. If you're shifting into a love timeline, embodiment means softening your heart when your instinct is to shut down. It means staying open during conflict instead of armoring up. It means speaking vulnerability even when your old wounds scream, hide. If you're shifting into a health timeline, embodiment means treating your body like it's already healing, like every cell is regenerating right now. It means choosing rest without guilt. It means feeding yourself with respect, not punishment. Do you see the pattern? You don't wait for the timeline to shift before you start living differently. You start living differently, and the timeline has no choice but to shift. This is why most manifestation fails. It's conditional. I'll feel abundant when the money arrives. I'll relax when I meet the one. I'll trust when I see the evidence. But the quantum field doesn't work backwards. It's a mirror, not a test. And the reflection happens instantly, not eventually. So the real question becomes: can you hold the frequency of your desired timeline even when nothing external has changed yet? Can you become so coherent in your signal that the old timeline can no longer hold you? Because here's the paradox that unlocks everything, and I need you to really breathe this in. The timeline doesn't shift when you get tired of waiting. The timeline shifts when waiting is no longer part of your frequency. Let me show you exactly how to do this, moment by moment, starting today. Now we get practical. Because transformation without application is just entertainment. The only practice that matters is the one you actually live. And here's what most people miss: they think timeline shifting requires massive, dramatic life changes. Quitting jobs. Ending relationships. Moving across the country. But quantum reality responds to coherence, not size. A single aligned breath can carry more energetic weight than a desperate grand gesture. This is the principle of microalignment. And it's how you integrate the shift into every single day. Let me break this down into living examples you can use immediately. If you're shifting toward abundance, your practice today might be breathing deeply when scarcity thoughts arise instead of spiraling. Expressing gratitude for the $5 in your pocket, amplifying the frequency of I have. Paying for something with presence and trust instead of panic. If you're shifting toward love, your practice might be opening your posture when you want to shrink. Texting someone with kindness instead of withdrawing. Speaking one sentence of affection even when vulnerability feels terrifying. If you're shifting toward health, your practice might be tuning into one sensation of vitality in your body right now. Choosing your next meal with respect, not restriction. Catching your inner critic and choosing one supportive thought instead. These aren't chores. These are quantum keys. Every small aligned act tells the field, this is who I am now. Not someday. Today. But here's the part that will save you from sabotaging yourself. The practice isn't about perfection. You will wobble. You will fall back into old loops. You will catch yourself thinking, feeling, acting from the old timeline. This doesn't mean you failed. It means you're human. The power isn't in never slipping. The power is in how fast you return. Every time you notice the slip and gently guide yourself back, you strengthen the new timeline. Every time you pause, breathe, and choose coherence over chaos, you reinforce the shift. Every time you act as though your desired reality is already true, even when the evidence hasn't arrived yet, you collapse the wave. This is the dance. The return. The commitment. Now let's talk about tools. Breath work. Meditation. Visualization. Sacred numbers like 369 or 777. These aren't magic tricks. They're anchoring devices that help your subconscious receive the message, I am tuned to the new reality. But remember, no tool works without your participation. You can't outsource your shift. So here's your invitation right now. Choose one pattern from the old timeline you're ready to disrupt. Choose one small act that embodies the new timeline. Commit to it today. It might be 3 conscious breaths before reacting. It might be one sentence spoken from your future self, not your fearful self. The quantum doesn't need time. It responds in the now. But staying in the now, moment after moment, that's the real mastery. And that's what we're covering next. Here's the uncomfortable truth that most manifestation teachers won't tell you. Visiting the new timeline once means nothing. The quantum field reshapes your reality when you live there. Most people treat manifestation like a destination. They visualize, they affirm, they journal, and then they wait, checking for results like tracking a package. And when the results don't show up fast enough, they collapse back into the old frequency, not realizing that the collapse is exactly what reset everything. Sustainability is the master key. Let me be very clear about what this doesn't mean. This doesn't mean forcing yourself to be positive 24/7. This doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything's perfect. Sustainability means developing the capacity to return to alignment, again and again. Every time you wobble and come back, the signal strengthens. Every time you catch yourself in an old loop and choose the new timeline, you reinforce the shift. Every time you act, speak, and breathe as though you already are that version of you, the old timeline loses its grip. This isn't punishment. This is mastery. Let me give you a simple roadmap you can follow every single day. First, daily tuning. Start your morning not with your phone, but with a frequency check. Ask yourself, what frequency am I bringing into today? Fear or trust? Struggle or flow? Set your signal before your feet hit the ground. Second, embodied action. Throughout your day, practice microalignment. Notice when your actions match your desired timeline and when they don't. If you want abundance, are you acting generous or stingy? If you want love, are you opening or closing? Third, emotional regulation. You will get triggered. You will doubt. This is human. The power is in returning. Breathe. Ground. Reconnect with the version of you who knows, this is who I am now. Fourth, anchoring symbols. Surround yourself with reminders. Numbers, mantras, images that anchor you into coherence. Stay close to communities that reinforce your frequency, not drain it. Fifth, gratitude amplification. Gratitude is the emotional signature of already having. When you practice it, you signal to the quantum, I am aligned. I am whole. I am receiving. This amplifies coherence and accelerates the collapse of your desired timeline. Remember this. You're not doing this to get somewhere. You are the somewhere. You're not chasing the timeline. You are becoming it. And when you live from that truth consistently, the external world has no choice but to rearrange itself around your new frequency. Now there's only one thing left. And it's the most important part. So here we are. You are not the same person who started listening to this. Something inside you has shifted. A code has been activated. A frequency has been unlocked. But here's what separates transformation from information. What you do next. Not tomorrow. Not when you feel ready. Not when conditions are perfect. Right now. So here's my challenge to you, and I'm asking you to take this seriously because your future self is watching. In the next 24 hours, do one thing that belongs to the version of you already living in your desired timeline. Just one thing. Maybe it's a choice. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's a gesture so small nobody else will notice. Maybe it's a private shift inside your own heart. It doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be real. And when you do it, I want you to feel this truth in your bones. You are no longer waiting for change. You are being it. The quantum field is responding to you right now. Not to who you were yesterday. Not to who you hope to be someday. To who you are choosing to be in this moment. That's where all the power lives. If this activated something inside you, if you felt your frequency shift even slightly while listening, I want you to subscribe. Not because you're following a channel, but because you're stepping into a space where we keep raising the frequency together. And in the comments, I want you to leave one word. Just one. The word that represents the timeline you're stepping into. Maybe it's abundance. Maybe it's love. Maybe it's freedom. Whatever it is, speak it into existence. Not for me. For you. Because when you name the timeline, you claim it. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your courage. Thank you for choosing to become more of who you really are. Now go surprise yourself. The quantum field is waiting for your signal. And trust me, it always responds.